Okay, hello everyone. So, well, the idea of it is the general public sentiment of a stock, given the stock. So we've been working on these things. We have the web interface, which is how all the information is displayed. Christian's going to be talking about that later. We've developed a manual classification tool to make our training set. We'll go over that more in a bit. Also the learning system. So this is the part that actually does the classification of the stocks. And so there are two phases to this. So we start with an article, and we first extract some features from it that we're going to learn on. So in this case, the two types of features that we're extracting are the words in the article, just taken as a set of words in no particular order. And then we're also extracting these things called collocations, which are words in the article that appear together but don't appear separately. And that's supposedly a good feature to learn on. Then we also have the HTML parsing part, because these articles, we get them all from the internet. And so we need to actually take the article text out of that. So we found some ways of doing this on the internet. And it was implemented by Lucas, who's not here today, so unfortunately I don't know a lot about it, but it's based on the idea of looking at a segment of the HTML and kind of determining the ratio of English letters to non-English letter characters, which will hopefully be able to pick out which bits are text.
Awesome, so we'll just go right to a demo here. Sorry, I'm not used to Windows here.
Oh, it's good.
Oh boy. All right, next time we're going to bring a Mac. Sorry, I can't full screen it. It acts up. But you can see current articles. There's about 2,000 articles in the system now. This is just a subset. And we also have a rankings page which shows the top positive articles and the top negative articles in our system. And as well as you can search for like Apple, and it will give you all the articles about Apple and the sentiment. So that's the basic gist of it. And again, as Mike mentioned, we're going to be integrating our learning system into this. So another thing that we can show you is our training system. Do you want to talk about that, Mike?
Sure. Yeah. So this is the training tool that we developed. So when we started, we first needed, in any learning problem, you need some kind of a training set that you're going to use to teach your algorithm how to classify new data. And we didn't have any of this. So we developed a tool that could be used to manually classify this stuff. So currently we have over around 1,000 articles in here. So this tool, it's very simple. You just get an article and you can read it, and then you classify it as something, and then it just moves on to the next one. So it's designed to be as fast as possible. And we encourage people who are perhaps bored waiting for their project to compile to visit this page and help us with this task. There are about 1,000 articles in here that need to be classified. So if you don't have anything to do, now you do.
Okay.
All right. So that's where we currently are. We have a few objectives to moving forward. We want to identify what company the article is talking about based on its text. So right now, that search function, I believe it uses the title, right?
No.
Is it search the full article?
Full article.
So it searches the full article for the text, but we want to be able to automatically combine our articles together that all talk about the same company and combine their sentiments to get an overall view. We want to be able to build portfolios, so a user could log in and have their portfolio in the system, and the system tells them the sentiment on their portfolio, not just individual stocks. And we want to also dynamically weight each source. So right now we have a few trusted sources that are giving us data. We want to support a broad array of sources. The problem is we don't know if the source is going to be usable or not. So we'd like to, over time, see whether the sentiment of the article is accurate or not and weight them accordingly. A source that is very reputable will be weighted higher. the source that doesn't usually give us useful information will be lower. So that's the buzz. But also this semester we've been working more on the RPI directory, the project from last semester. It was about a week ago we spent a very, very long night and we developed this thing called OmniSearch. So last semester the way it worked was you could search for names, first and last name. It did a prefix matching on the search, so you could search for the first part of the name and not the last part. We decided that this wasn't good enough, and now we allow searching on all sorts of different parameters, such as the names, their job, their major, their year, address, and so on.
So also with this, we made a really cool stats page. I don't know if you guys are on Reddit, but we posted it on Reddit and we got a huge response, which I'll talk about later. The stats page shows all kinds of statistics about RPI, and if you guys have any ideas of statistics, please let me know. I just thought of a few. So, great. So thanks.
Fancy.
See if we can.
Oh God.
It's like I'm playing mine.
Maybe that works.
Oh, wait.
No, it was good.
Put off the thing open.
Okay.
Nope.
So, all right, next time, definitely no one. Okay, so basically what we moved, to do all this, we had to move our backend database, and right now AppEngine runs on Google's proprietary Bigtable, which is a key value store. They actually released a new product, which is still in private testing, called Cloud SQL. And basically what that is it's MySQL. It's identical to MySQL, but all the replication and network latency correction is handled transparently. So I actually worked on with this team last summer. I got to use it. It's a lot more stable than it was last summer, so we switched over to it, and it can actually handle like complete data center outages and everything all transparently. So it's pretty cool. So you can do all kinds of queries that you can with SQL that you can't do with Bigtable. Like you can't do joins, you can't do wildcard searches, just because that's how it's designed. But with SQL, you can do all those. So in the bottom there is a graph of our traffic over time. You can see the day we put it on Reddit. This is 800 right here. So we almost reached 800 views in a single day, and we're averaging around 100 to 200 views a day now after that huge traffic spike.
Okay, so also to go along with all this niftiness, we have an Android app that's now available on the Play Store, formerly the Android.
So I'd like to show you guys a quick demo. Here.
Question is cache a very critical thing here if it is not in a cache?
Yeah, so I can talk about that if you guys want, but I posted a blog on that, implementing caching, and it's incredible how much faster it makes your app. So here's our website now. I'll just refresh it. So I guess I'll start out with, so I met this really cool kid. His name was Michael. I think he studied science, and I think he's a senior, and I think he studied computer science. So you'll see that it narrows it down, and you get some cool graphs here about your results. So you notice that like these aren't dependent on the order, so I can do another one like, you know, met this kid named Peter. He studied science, I think computers. His name was something with an H. So, and also like you can, so yeah, like you can start with senior, and actually this is a cool one. So like, let's see, I met a professor. I think he's in Lally. I think he's science, and I think he does computers. So you can see here all the professors in Lally that study computer science, and I think his name was cool. So if you notice, like these fields, not all the fields are here, but for example, you can click on it and get more information. So what it's doing is it's searching over all these fields in the background. So it matches against any of these fields, even though it doesn't display all of them in the table. But yeah, it's pretty powerful, and those are just some examples I thought of. But go ahead, try it out, and let us know what you guys think. So as far as the stats page, just go to / you can click down here on stats. And so this brings up some cool stats that I made of this pulls directly from the database. So you can see the top 20 majors, the top 20 departments at RPI, and the top 20 first names. So most common is Michael. The most common last name is Wang. So these are the data speaking, not me. So yeah, play around with these, and you can see breakdown of student body, and also just memcache statistics for the nerdy folks out there. And also, we got in contact with the help desk to kind of collaborate with them on this, and we implemented an overload kind of filter. So if you start spamming it, we automatically log and send emails. But we decided to put the top IP addresses on here as well. So you can see, like, that's me, that's Dan, that's Mike. Hopefully you guys will use it enough to override us. But, yeah, that's the demo I had for the website. And Mike's going to show the app now.
So, let's see if this works. So you'll have to excuse the lack of smoothness in this. This is sampling at like 5 frames per second. So anyway, so here we are. Here is the app. So you see that when you launch it, there's simple instructions to how to use it. So the search bar here, we've got all the same features as we would have in on the website. So we can search for names and they'll appear there. We can also view more details about a person. So we can see some stuff about Dan Kimball that we all are curious about. And so one thing that we were going for with the Android app is to integrate it with phone features. So one way that we did this, for instance, is if you touch the email address, then you can just directly send an email from there. So we also have, let's see. So we can see Professor Jackson's information. Again, we have integration with the phone, but I'm not bold enough to press dial, so I'll back away from this. Also, from here, if you from the detailed view, if you press the menu button, you can add someone to your contacts, and it will take all the information. So now, if I ever want to, if I ever have something about the school to tell President Jackson, then I can come here and all the relevant information has been added. And of course we have About page where everyone gets credit. And yes, I am aware of the spelling error. So that's about it with the Android app.
So with the, from the Reddit post, there was a suggestion by Yvonne about maps.rpa.edu, combining that with the mapping so that we know where they are and so on.
Yes.
That would be a good integration. Maps also started off with an RCOS project a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. We would definitely like to do that. So
Alright.
I sent this to local CS profs. They all liked it. They wanted more information.
Alright, so a good project's never done. We still have work to do. We want to implement a local database on the Android app. So instead of having each time you hit a letter, it queries it. The whole database is a few megabytes, right?
Yeah.
So we can download the whole database to the apps and distribute it as part of the app and update it periodically, and much faster results. Also an iOS app, it's in the work. Brendan Justin, right? He made an app last semester, but never got pushed to the App Store. So we're talking to him about getting it out there. Hopefully next week we should be good to go. And details will be a person on our website. That's a
can always be improved. Yeah, we're thinking of putting like a little Google map, so Professor, you can see where their office is and stuff. With that, I think
that's it.
Yeah. So if any questions, sure.
I was talking to Professor Hardwick and Professor Stewart the other day about we were talking about using your stats graphs for tomorrow, and I just wanted to know if so when you have the professors one, is that all staff in the department, or is that just full professors or full professors?
It's all of them.
No adjuncts. It's all staff.
It's a staff, all the
All staff. Just everybody who's in the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so even so you can look up all the shuttle drivers. So I know James is a good guy, and I don't know if you guys get tickets here at RPI, but
snow.
yeah.
The only parking enforcement.
Yeah, so if you pay for parking enforce. Yeah, see, there he is. So yeah, it searches across all the fields, so we're pretty excited about that. And while you guys are asking questions, I'll pull up the Memcache.
Oh yeah.
What's our blog?
No, you go to rcos.rp.edu, that's the first blog, the top blog in there.
So yeah, for those of you guys interested in performance, so here's our stat trace of a call that we have to go to the database, and you can see the RDBMS, which is the database call, takes 250 milliseconds, and so the total request takes 253 milliseconds, whereas one that's memcached, we return a response in 10 milliseconds. So you can see caching improves the performance, 40 times over or something like that. And as well as you can optimize your memcache calls, so you're not doing memcache.get. That's what we were doing before. And then you combine them all into one, and you get one response that takes 4 milliseconds or 14 milliseconds. So yeah, that was interesting too. Any other questions?
I think there is still some questions with parsing of names, but I will contact you after.
Yeah, we looked into that, and the parser is very fragile at this point, and we beefed it up a little bit, but basically if we can't parse information out, we just assume we'll get it the next pass. So there's always going to be a couple people that we're not getting, but there are some bugs.
The database refreshes once a week or so.
Yeah, so we should get everybody in a week. But yeah, please email us if you're not, or someone isn't in there, and we'll look at why. But awesome. Well, thank you guys.